So, first things first, Björn, how are you?
I'm good. I'm really good. I'm a bit tired, but I think I do have the energy.
Okay, that's good. Sorry. Before we talk about battles, I'd like to go into the album you released yesterday.
You mean the live?
Live album from the heart of
I still
Gothenburg.
say live DVD. I guess it's a Blu-ray technology. Yeah.
But I believe it was recorded in Gothenburg,
Yeah.
obviously.
It was a hometown show.
Do you remember the first time, maybe as a kid, as a teenager, you went to a show in that venue?
Not sure in what order I went to see, but I remember many shows.
Okay.
I've seen. It was that venue. I think is very special for a lot of people that that grew up in Gothenburg, and still is. I mean, a lot of people, if you're into hockey and the local team, then this is where you go to see the home games.
Okay.
But it is. I saw Anthrax blow away Maiden there.
Okay.
Yeah, they were opening up for Maiden. They just released Persistence of Time, which is 90. And I mean, I love Maiden. It's one of the favorite bands, obviously. But I just got into Anthrax really late. Well, around this album, obviously, because I heard they were going to be on tour with Maiden. And Maiden, as always, kick ass. It's a great live band. I think there was what's it called? No Fear of the Road, or so, I can't remember what the tour was called. Anyway, so Anthrax walks out on stage and completely demolishes Gothenburg, and it was a great experience and seeing that. I've seen Slayer, Metallica, Whitesnake, Judas Priest, all the bands I've listened to growing up in that venue. So yeah, for us we played a couple of times there. We opened up for Judas once. We opened up for Slayer there. We have played a couple of headline shows there, and they've always been really cool. But we just are really bad at planning and realize certain things really late. But this time we had the opportunity. It was the last show of the tour, so we really warmed up and would play on, as good as we are. And it was in this very cool venue. We had the time to talk to Patrik Uleus, who is a really good friend of ours. That he's made pretty much all our videos. Okay. And he did the previous DVD as well. So he knows us really well, and we had the time for him to talk to our light guy and everything in order to set everything up. And he captured it perfectly. It was a really special night, and yeah, we're super excited that it's finally out, because it's actually recorded 2014. So yeah, but whoever waits for something good cannot wait too long.
Going, well, obviously it's a hometown gig, and then obviously you go through the set list, and then you kind of delve into the back catalog of your career.
Yeah, parts of it. I mean, yeah.
Did it bring back memories of those early days?
I never really see it that way. I mean, that would sort of entail or mean that I was looking back in a way, and I'm not very romantic or how to say. I don't think it was, the early days were the only good days. I think I am super proud of each and every record. In all honesty, I am, because all of these were perfect at the time, and they also led us up to where we are today. I wouldn't musically be where I am today if it weren't for all these records. So, and they're perfect examples of how we sounded each. Having said that, there's also a lot of learning in between these records. In the early days, I'd like to remember it, maybe this is romanticizing it a bit, but I'd like to remember that we didn't really care so much about the live shows. It was sort of like, yeah, we do a show or maybe a festival. It's a fun thing, but it's the record. So you focus on that, you tend to sort of overproduce. Okay. In that sense that it's like 8 to 12 guitars on there in every, and it's really hard to recreate that live. And you didn't think about the live version that would come later on. And when you couldn't do those songs justice, we had to figure out a way of writing and a way of arranging the songs that would fit the touring that was coming up. And now we spend probably like 95 to 99% of our time on the road, and we do the album the rest. So it's very important to do the songs, write the songs, create everything and record it in a way that it actually works where we're going to spend most of our time. We didn't think about that back then.
Okay.
So that's why we don't go all the way back in our set lists to the very early days, because
you can't trust.
It doesn't. The songs, unfortunately, like the really early ones, don't work live the same way as later stuff. But we do dig a bit deeper to, I'd say, probably. Well, every now and then we bring out a Jester Race or a Horacle or a Colony song, but unfortunately and it's a luxury problem too.
Sure.
I mean, having 12 records now, making a set list is not easy. It's not getting easier. Having to choose between 150 plus songs, it's a challenge. Sure. It's a luxury problem, but it's still a challenge.
I want to go a little bit more into your history, just quickly, because you mentioned that Anthrax show. Do you remember how old you were at that time?
This is probably 90 or 91.
Okay, so it's just around when kind of the band started.
15 or 16. Yeah, but I didn't join the band until the Jester. I joined 95.
In that time, because you did live in Gothenburg, right?
Yeah.
So what was the atmosphere like? Because there were, at that time, a certain amount of bands that came up with what later became the Gothenburg sound, but what was the atmosphere or the in that time?
Being from the outside, I was never like in that scene. Okay. Because I came from a different part of town, and I was, grown up on Purple, Sabbath, Van Halen, and later on Metallica and Slayer and all that stuff, and into the death metal scene, like especially the Florida death metal scene, like maybe not bands coming from there, but bands coming out of Morrisound and that were produced and recorded by Scott Burns. I just bought records of, because it said Scott Burns on it. So I was really into that scene, and I think most of the other guys were also that. But I think when you talk to Anders, for instance, he was really, really into like the German, like speed metal, thrash, the new wave of British heavy metal, and the death metal scene. So I came in late. My cousin was really, really good friends with Jesper, who started this thing. And when In Flames needed a drummer, my cousin sort of lied and said, well, my cousin knows how to play the drums. You should check him out. And I sort of tried out, and we hit it off. And I sucked a little bit less than Jesper did on drums, so I got the job, So that's the first time I actually got in contact with this scene. I mean, my cousin played me some tunes from the different bands, but it wasn't. I was not sort of in the scene already when I joined.
Okay.